Hey everyone, welcome to the Ingram Micro Cybersecurity webinar series. Today's topic is Cybersecurity Fundamentals with Sophos. I'm going to give everyone about 10-15 seconds to start dialing in, get settled, grab your coffee, grab your water. We'll get started here just in another 30 seconds or so. All right, looks like we are getting towards a pretty full house. So I know we have a lot of content to cover. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So once again, welcome to the webinar. Topic today is Cybersecurity Fundamentals with Sophos. I'm Nayana Dasgupta. I am the vendor manager for Sophos at Ingram Micro. And joining me today, we have Wesley Hwang, who is the Security Solutions Architect at Ingram on our cyber team. And I've got Rabnott, his distribution manager at Sophos today. A quick little bit of housekeeping and covering the agenda. So we will record the presentation, email it through to everyone who has attended. So if you're going through the content and you want to take a note of something, keep in mind you'll have the full prezo, or if you have someone within your organization who you think would benefit from the content, by all means, feel free to pass it on through to them once you receive it. We will do Q&A at the very end of this session, but as questions come up, definitely go ahead and put it in the chat box. We do keep an eye on it. If it's something we can answer within the session, we will. Otherwise, we will get to it at the end. Last but not least, you definitely want to stick around for the end because we're going to announce some partner incentives today. There are some great chances to win. And also for anyone who wants to take note of this date, August 22nd in Sydney, we're doing an in-person partner update. And I'll tell you why it's important, because today we are giving away a Sophos backpack to one lucky winner who submits a deal reg by August 31st and also finishes their MDR SC02 cert by then. And that session is going to cover how you can get your cert done. You can actually get it done that day on site. It's up to you if you want to come in and take advantage of that. But enough from me. I will throw it over to you, Wes, to take us through.
Thanks, Nina. Appreciate that. Welcome, everyone. So my name is Wesley. I'm a solution architect here in Ingram Micro. So basically, we look at looking at cybersecurity solution. Obviously, Sophos being one of our vendors that we have inside here. So I just want to step back a bit. We've all heard the news and seen what's been going on. There's not a day that doesn't go by without any sort of cyber breach that's been reported, whether it's in Australia or globally across on here. So this one's just a quick snapshot from Google just this week at the moment. I'm not too sure if many of you are aware. The latest one's been around Move It, which is a file transfer application in itself happening, and then the attacks that are happening through third-party vendors alike on there. So what we're seeing, obviously, the attacks are becoming much more sophisticated. And the only thing we hear on the news is things that have been breached. I think when's the last time, if you think about it, when you heard someone's protected and prevented a breach happening? It doesn't really happen, unfortunately, in our industry here. So of course, if the bigger the organization, obviously the bigger news story that we have cross on here. So many of us would know certain companies in Australia particularly last year that were hit with massive data breaches that were affected a lot of Australians for us over here. It doesn't mean that the smaller organisations aren't getting breached as well, obviously, but we just don't hear of them because they don't get big enough to make it in the news story out there. So what we're going to talk about is in terms of the IT and security, the landscape is always shifting. And what we want to look at is the three different areas of where it's affecting partners and customers, particularly from a business, also how the attackers are shifting, and also IT security has shifted a lot in today's environments, particularly over the last 3 to 4 years. That whole security, IT security, and what they're responsible to do is, has shifted quite dramatically in terms of what's happening out there. So if we look at the business shift, and we're searching for ways to improve productivity and efficiency. So organizations are built around that, and what they've done is created a interconnected supply chain along with the infrastructure and technology to support that. So at the same time, the migration of data and application to the cloud has delivered many different benefits, like the ability for us to work from basically anywhere now, also lower the cost of operations and improve performance and scalability. This also allows the growth of the global digital supply chain itself. In parallel, a lot of us, we have been affected by COVID for the past few years. The way that we operate is quite dramatically changed in terms of accelerating that the shift of working from home. I will say work from anywhere now, and in doing so, it's shattered any sort of remaining myths about the organisation's perimeter of where people should be, what they should be working on. So it should be assumed that people, application, devices, and data can be found anywhere in itself on there. So while these are interconnected and dispersed, and these systems serve us quite well, they also create new security challenges. Many organisations are struggling to even map where their network ends, or where, or let alone being able to secure all the systems, whether it's on-prem or on cloud, along with that. Also, we work from anywhere. It's the perimeter's all gone, and it's now there's pretty much, I would say, a perimeterless network that we're working in these days. So intelligent, adaptive, and adaptive adversaries target all these systems that we have, lured by the opportunity to upscale what they offer. So basically, we're looking at attackers and their shift in terms of what they're doing on the environments as well. So the attackers have shifted. So when you work in cybersecurity, obviously it's easy to lose sight of an important but underappreciated fact in the battle over our critical systems and data, and the defenders are winning. The daily headlines that report new security breaches serve an important purpose. First of all, as cautionary tales to remind us to take preventative action and stay vigilant of those attacks. But these stories are very far and few in the exception to the rule. We don't see headlines of businesses that successfully defend themselves against thousands of breach attempts every single day out there. So not only has cybersecurity effectiveness dramatically improved in itself on there, but the latest tools and managed services are more accessible and cost-effective than ever before as well. So technologies like anti-ransomware, exploit prevention, behavioral detection, and anti-phishing are now available to all sorts of customers out there. These capabilities, which are facilitated, improved, and accelerated by AI and machine learning, are addressing the known adversarial tactics and techniques and procedural documentation in the MITRE attack framework as well, with novel attacks that we've never seen before in the wild as well. These improvements have helped close the holes and close the loops and paths for these adversaries as well. Any sort of block techniques that have made some attacks, very cost prohibitive now. Obviously, these attackers are running their own business model. They're daring to make money as well on there. So basically, the improvements in security, are so significant that the old story of the attacker only needs to be correct once is no longer true at the moment. In order for the attackers to make money, the attackers need to be correct many times during an attack itself on there. So in fact, for attackers, it's shifted their approach from an automated malware to a more comprehensive approach that combines and builds automation and with hands-on hacking. So the adversary's main goal is to remain undetected, and the best way to do that is to act like an employee using local tools, devices, and typical traffic patterns. These significant attacks, which require significant human investments, are all the one more costly for the victims. the attackers are able to exploit their in-depth knowledge of the victim's environment to cause maximum damage and demand maximum return on them. For the IT security and businesses, the attack shifts necessitate an evolution in their IT security. No longer it's about trying to block things or prevent things from happening on there. They have to be on top of the game and understand what's coming down with security threats and knowledge as well from there. So organizations face an intelligent adversary that continually moves the objective as they progress towards it. So requiring IT security teams to develop countermeasures that improve their chances of winning. Firstly, it requires a step change shift from just security management and managing your customers to security operation. Gone are the days where you have set and forget it security policies. As attackers move on and get clever, IT security needs to do the same to hunt and detect any sort of suspicious behaviours and events before they become a breach out there. Security teams need to look for suspicious activities as early in the attack chain as possible in order to give the defenders the ability to respond before the damage is done. Even stealthy attackers will leave some sort of breadcrumbs, and the security teams need to have the ability to find and follow that trail to stop that attack early in the process. It's no longer just a matter of finding the signal amongst the noise, but of identifying critical weak signals before they actually become strong signal. The stronger the signal, the closer you are to a breach. With the proper IT tools, IT issues can be proactively detected and remediated before any sort of adversary is able to discover and use them in an attack itself. Now that businesses are also now so very much interconnected with each other, security needs to follow suit as well. IT security teams need to move from unintegrated security point products to an adaptive security system that automatically prevents as much as possible while enabling operators to search and detect weaker signals, such as suspicious behaviours and events, and prevent them from becoming breaches. Business environments and attacks are always evolving. The future of IT security is a system that enables a unique feedback loops, so it can build and constantly learn and improve upon that. New information and events detected by the operations can be automated, improving prevention and reducing the number of new attacks that can get into the system itself on there. Similarly, as automation software improves, operators can find suspicious behavior and events faster and further reducing the incidents that are happening. This virtuous cycle of constantly improving overall security for an organization and its connected businesses. So if you look at the networks, many years ago, it would have been a very, you typically had the internet, you had the file, which is acting as the gateway and the perimeter, and then you had your local network across on here. Now, what we're seeing, obviously, that has changed all on its head. So no longer that we have a perimeter around a firewall, where we see a trusted network on the right-hand side over here. Now, pretty much, we have users that aren't sitting in that network, they're sitting out on the outside of the network, which are remote users. But then again, we're also adding things like, for example, SaaS applications, like Microsoft 365. There's also public cloud as well. Infrastructure as a service is now beyond the traditional perimeters across on here. So the use of these SaaS and cloud platforms leave much of our data outside of the corporate perimeter. So everything is everywhere in a sense on here. So what we're looking is, for security solutions to provide a complete solution across, not just from the inside, but also for outside perspective. So how can Sophos help you? So what we'll do is, first of all, just have a quick glance at where Sophos is and who they are. So if you're not familiar with Sophos, here's a bit of a background on who Sophos is. So basically, they're one of the leading provider for cybersecurity products, securing over 550,000 customers globally against the latest cyber threats out there. They have over 250,000 organizations using their endpoint security solutions, and over nearly up to 250,000 using their firewalls at the networks across on here. If you don't know, Sophos is also one of the leading providers for managed detection and response services in the world, securing a lot more organizations than any other providers. And they've been also rated high in terms of independent customer reviews such as Gartner Peer Insights and G2 in terms of the MDR service out there. So in terms of the Sophos ecosystem, so we talked about the complexities of cybersecurity. So we're looking at ways to adopt a new approach to solve what the cybersecurity challenges are that we're having. And the way we can do that, to succeed in that is to stop more threats, but also be faster. And it's also to move away from individual security products and services to a security, what Sophos calls a security ecosystem. So an ecosystem that not only is managed and secured by an open platform, accessible through traditional UI or more and more currently through APIs. A system that's also integrated where technologies and human expertise can work together to drive faster security outcomes. It's also powered by a breadth of telemetry sources and control points across your environment as well. It's also scalable and adaptable and accessible for organizations of all sizes, not just the enterprise itself, it's also available for SMBs across here. So what we call it, and this is what Sophos is delivering, is the Sophos Adaptive Cybersecurity Ecosystem across on here. So Sophos addresses the challenges that organizations face through an automated and integrated and open ecosystem of cybersecurity software, hardware, services, and tools that partners can work on or also integrate with existing solutions and infrastructures. So we call it, they nickname the ACE, so the Adaptive Cybersecurity Ecosystem out there. The Adaptive Security Ecosystem covers 5 major areas of cybersecurity, and customers can use much or as little as they need across on here. So all managed by your security experts or by Sophos. So first of all, obviously from endpoints, protecting laptops, desktops, servers, mobile devices, security operations in terms of threat detection, hunting and investigation, and also the remediation that can either be managed by customers or partners. Traditional network security, so from securing access to applications and data, but protecting remote workers, offices, branches, data centers, cloud infrastructures, and that. Also, we also have cloud security as well, secure access to cloud infrastructure, workloads and data through continuous monitoring and remediation of the vulnerabilities, threats, and malicious traffic and configuration and anomalies. And then also email security as well, which is AI-driven with scanning and protection from phishing, impersonation, spam, and malware across on here. So basically, the adaptive cybersecurity ecosystem protects your organizations wherever your resources are, whether it's on-prem or remote or in the cloud. And as you continue your digital transformation journey, we can help you, support you at every step along the way there. So in terms of the presentation and the webinar today, two verticals that we're just going to focus on due to time and all that, and it is around the network security, which is the first component, and then we'll talk about SecOps, which is probably the current hot topic that a lot of partners are facing from their customers out there. So in terms of where Sophos can help in terms of network security, just got to hear an easy, quick diagram of what it looks like, from our traditional perimeter where we have the firewall here in the middle, protecting the traditional network, and you have your trusted environment where you may have a switch. We also have the access point as well. For remote workers, we also have the ZTNA agent for remote access. So if you're familiar with VPN, the ZTNA is probably a more advanced version of a VPN. Rather than giving everyone access, you can give restricted access to certain resources across on here. Also, from the remote office side of things, we also have the SD-RED appliance as well. So remote edge device for remote connectivity for remote offices in certain environments where Sophos has a lot of traction with, particularly IoT environments in deploying this across on here. So if we look at the full network stack over here, across the network security products, it allows them to connect and secure their networks anywhere. You also have the zero trust at the top, also with SD-RED for remote edge, and I'll say almost zero touch for remote office connectivity, Wi-Fi access points, Sophos switches, and of course the firewalls as well on there. All these products, the full stack, can be managed together from Sophos Central, giving you a single vendor and also the full security network needs with a single management console. Along with ZTNA and InterceptX, they can give you a single solutions for your remote users or workers as well out there. So just a quick high-level overview of the XGS appliance. I won't go into the models specifically on there. So there are 10 desktop appliances. So this includes the non-wireless version and also the inbuilt wireless version of the desktop appliances. The second one is the distributed edge environments. So these customers can have a distributed environment with many branch office or remote locations that you need to secure across on here. And then we also have the enterprise edge devices, which are 2RUs across on here. So basically, you have a wide range of products. Again, we'll go through some tools such as the firewall sizing tools. We'll mention at the end of the presentation as well. That can help you figure out the right size of each of these appliances across on here. So from the XGS appliance, not just from a physical as well, we also have the virtual and the software appliances of the XGS appliance. And in your public cloud, obviously you see here we support there's AWS, Microsoft Azure, Kubernetes, and also Nutanix as well for public cloud environments across on here. Again, across all the platforms, it doesn't matter what you have, it's a single, the same type of protection and subscription is applicable to across all the form factors that you have of the XGS appliance across here. This is the SD-RED appliance, or the remote edge product. Basically, provides an affordable connectivity for your remote devices and locations. It's zero touch and flexible configuration and connectivity options, and mostly, or importantly, a super robust and reliable connection that has been known to traverse even the most hostile or wide area networks around that we've faced across on here. The applications for these devices are endless. So we have the SD-RED devices running in most obscure locations that you could possibly imagine. Basically, plug it into the network. Basically, if you want to provide a quick remote access or device for, in these cases for IoT environments, it's quick and easy way to deploy this in those environments out there. So earlier on we talked about remote access and what we're going to talk about is just quickly over zero trust network access, or ZTNA is what you've heard on there. So basically, the trust of ZTNA is only established after users identified itself through using multi-factor authentication. Also, what we'll do is also do the device and validate the device is also what they should be also be using and provide there. Once those controls are in place and verified, what that will do is allow you to provide strict control access to the or privileged network access to what that user and the device is particularly allowed to. So if you think of ZTNA, if you say think of the old saying that trust is earned and not giving, that's how ZTNA is working in the environment across on here. So if we look at ZTNA and the remotes for remote workers, basically we can provide benefits for remote workers to securely access the applications and data that they need to do their job. But it's also easier to manage than the VPN and provides a better experience. So ZTNA, if you look at it, does provide enhanced security for your end users, obviously removing that implicit trust, hey, we trust you, but we're going to actually just verify and make sure that who you say you are and what device you're logged on, what you have access to, is all set up and allowed to do, that user is only accessing things that they should only be getting access to rather than the full network once they're in on there. Integration with InterceptX, also the device health as well, and things like that from a security perspective. From the administration side, it's an easier managed because it is a cloud delivered or cloud managed way of delivering a VPN, whereas a ZTNA access rather than the VPN. whereas a VPN is more traditionally tied to wherever the firewall is that users are coming into. So again, integrates with single intercept X as well, and you have a single agent and control. From the user experience, obviously, it's just a very transparent user experience as well. It just works, connects, it's fast, works anywhere they are, and whether they're in the home, office, or or they're traveling as well across out there. So if we look at the ZTNA, just as a graphical representation of what it does, we're providing the remote access, not access to the whole network instead. So we're giving, in this example here, this remote user has access to applications in AWS, and on the corporate network, they have an application access to this particular database over here, but nothing else on the network here. So ZTNA provides you that micro-segmentation that your network of the device itself or the network, and doesn't have to give broad access to systems across on the network on there. So ZTNA solution is uniquely integrated with the next gen endpoint as well with InterceptX. Has another important features and benefits such as protecting your endpoints and applications, and end-to-end protection, and also via a single console as well. And in terms of management, and a single pane of glass for management in Sophos Central as part of that. Continue on, we have the Sophos switches as well. With the Sophos switches, we have the 8, 24, and 48 ports that are available, full PoE, non-PoE, PoE as well, in terms of those models, variants, and obviously the central, you have Sophos Central as a central management, or you also have the gain your control on box on the switch as well. We also have the access points as well, so the 720, 740, the 530. On the 320, we also have the indoor and also an outdoor access point as well. So the APX 320X is the outdoor access point, which is IPX rated, and then also APX 120 for those very small environments across on here. We'll quickly touch on the endpoint security. So in terms of endpoint, Sophos has the InterceptX agent for endpoints. Basically, the endpoints can stop a lot of the attacks that are happening before they run, and uses advanced techniques and multi-layer protection that includes anti-ransomware, anti-exploitation, and it's also AI powered with deep learning models across on here. There's also a built-in account health check tool as well, which can automatically assess the account configuration to identify potential security gaps as well. So particularly things as if there are policies that are not turned on or features that aren't enabled. It can also provide practical guidance to remediate any issues found and optimize your cybersecurity operations as well. In terms of moving on, so we're going to talk about the security operations itself. So we have the endpoint with InterceptX. If you're familiar with the endpoint technologies, there's been talk around, okay, endpoint, and then EDR, which is the going on, and then XDR, which is extended detection and response. So we have the protection on the endpoints itself. We're now talking about visibility and being able to detect and understand what's happening on those endpoints. So the extended detection and response provides the ability for partners and customers to hunt for threats and solve any IT issues that are happening on there. Obviously, being able to detect sort of that proactive approach across on here, and then reduce the risk and noise that are happening in the environments across on here. So the XDR platform itself, if you've got partners that have got skills or customers that have got skills in terms of cyber skills themselves, this is a nice way for XDR across on here. But we know that the reality these days, is that a lot of organizations and partners that they've been asked to do more, right? They've been asked to provide the detection and response, also the remediation as well going on here. So the threats are constantly changing. It's very hard for a partner or customer to keep up to date with the latest threats that are happening, right? So, we don't know what's going to happen. Someone's got to be on top of that. We also understand the threat as well, across what's coming in as well. So, hey, these particular indicators are compromised. Are these a real threat, or these, or are these just noise coming through? So the people, resources, and all that to have the skills, it takes very a lot of manpower, and tools to actually correlate all that data itself on there. So basically, a lot of organizations aren't equipped to manage cybersecurity in-house or provide a security operations center themselves. Obviously, end customers, they're worried about just making sure that the money's come through and they're secure across on it. They just want to go on with their business, and leaving partners to deal with the cybersecurity across on here. So there are challenges facing partners, obviously, because we don't have the right skill sets. You're finding a person with the right skill takes a lot of time. Also, very expensive resources across on here. So what Sophos can do is provide a way of providing security services partners itself on there. So there are 3 things here. First of all is the Sophos compromise assessment. So the question of if I've been breached and your customer potentially been breached, but you want a second set of pair of eyes, just to make sure that the environment is clean and that there's nothing happening across on here. So Sophos can provide that to partners itself on there. The next one is, hey, for whatever reason, there has been a breach that has happened in the environment. We need someone to help us and assist us with this because we don't have the right skills in place to deal with this particular threat. This is where Sophos Rapid Response can help partners and customers alike on here. So basically, there's a team, they'll go through the whole environment, look at that, making sure and cleaning and doing the triage across that. They'll also continue monitoring 45 days of ongoing threat and monitor response from Sophos as well to ensure that that threat is properly remediated and there's no recurrence of that threat as well on there. Last one, and we'll go into this one a bit more detail, is around Sophos MDR. So we've talked about I might be breached, okay, I'm okay, or I've been breached, I need some help on here. And Sophos MDR is the proactive way of, okay, I don't want this ever to happen again. I want to make sure that we're on top of things from the get-go. Sophos MDR is where this comes in play on here. So for managed detection and response, what it means is that is that Sophos will provide the whole part of this on behalf of partners on your customers as an additional service that you can offer to them, which is 24/7, 365 days a year in terms of threat hunting, because they have the right skills and people across on here. So Sophos MDR, it's done by Sophos threat hunters to do the threat hunting, and they have the capability of doing the detection. And they have the cybersecurity skills already in-house for you, and it's for you guys to for partners to tap into across on here. There's also incident response as well that Sophos can provide. There are different ways you can do it. So in terms of the incident response, whether you want Sophos to do that incident response for you guys, or hey, hang on, we want to work together, can you provide us that incident response and we can action that itself on there. So for MDR, it is a fully managed service by Sophos that provides a 24/7 service. It's delivered by experts who are specializing in detecting and responding to cyber attacks. In this, just that solution, technology solutions can't provide alone itself on there. So Sophos will monitor and respond to attacks on your network for you out there. So if you look at MDR, there are 3 common things, right? People, process, and technology. And where does MDR help partners along? So from a people perspective, we're not asking you to, you don't have to have a threat hunter or security expert in your team. Sophos has the team to do that. They can actually manage that threat, co-manage that threat with you, with your team, or alert you that potential threats, and that may require action across on there. From a process perspective itself, Sophos can provide the process or the incident response itself and do the threat implementation for you on your behalf across on here. Again, a report is shared to you after that across on there. There can be a containment way, so Sophos can contain that, so you as a partner can actually eliminate that if you want to. There's also a detailed alert one as well. So, hey, I don't want Sophos touching my customers. We want to manage it fully ourselves, but provide us the detailed alert and also the remediation guidance that's required for what you've found across on here. Technology-wise, Obviously, what Sophos has recognized is that Sophos actually for MDR supports a wide range of not just Sophos products, but non-Sophos products as well. And that includes the competitors across on here. So it can be a combination of all, or it doesn't have to be any Sophos products as well. You can utilize the MDR platform across on here. So with the integrations and the third-party integrations, for endpoints, it does cover most of the known endpoints that you see in the market these days, and that's including Windows or Microsoft Defender as well. Therefore, third-party products such as firewalls or NDRs or email as well, there are a list of third-party products as well that Sophos MDR will support on here. So one of the things that I get asked a lot these days is about Microsoft 365 and Defender. It has become part and parcel of what Microsoft is doing and bundling things into there. So just one thing to bear in mind with Microsoft Defender is that Defender's about providing the security and the protection on the endpoints itself, and there's a limited source of if something does happen on that. There's no one can provide you the visually auto response from Microsoft itself unless you pay more money to do that across on here. So Sophos MDR for Microsoft Defender has been launched in part with that to recognize that telling partners and customers, hey, you can stay with Microsoft Defender. What we'll do is we'll provide you a value add on top of that to provide you the detection and the response if anything does happen in your Defender environment, in Microsoft environment across on here. So basically, it's a value add. You're not having to change the story or things like that with your customers and across on here. With Sophos MDR, we're trying to deliver some outcomes for partners in terms of Sophos MDR out there. So the first one here, what we're trying to achieve with that is because we're proactive with cybersecurity and getting on top of things, we're trying to reduce your cyber risks for your customers out there. By being able to provide the threat experts looking at that data, understanding what's happening, and providing a way to then filter the noise out. Being able to see that and reducing any sort of these attacks potentially happening in an environment and getting on top of that very quickly across on here. We're also allowing efficiencies and impact and improved ROI on the security investments that customers and partners make on their security products on there. So being able to utilize the tools, having the visibility, being able to respond on top of that, further helps partners in terms of having a better outcome for customers in terms of their cybersecurity standing. Being able to react very quickly, can help prevent a breach from happening. The cost of breaches these days, are in excess of $1 million per breach. That's not just including having to clean up data, but also potential financial risk to a customer if they've been breached across on here. Also, the questions, of course, customers have been asking as well to partners has been around about cyber security insurance as well. So we know that the cyber insurance, they've been asking a lot more requirements. They have been focusing a lot on in terms of what is your prevention, but also what is your response plan out there. So what they found is obviously with Sophos MDR is to help improve that insurability across on here. So that ties up with my part in terms of the technology part on here. So I'll quickly pass over to Dale to go over the Sophos Partner Program and tools that are available.
Thanks, Wes, and thank you all for joining today. So my name is Dale Rabnott and I'm the ANZ Distribution Manager for Sophos. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just to take you all through our Sophos Partner Program, the resources and tools available to you as well. So next slide. Whether it's a flexible monthly billing option for our MSPs or protecting cloud workloads for CSPs or reselling our product stack through hardware and terms licensing for our VARs, we cater for a number of types of partners and how they integrate Sophos into their go-to-market. So there are 4 partner levels within our partner program. There's authorized, silver, gold, platinum, and And as these partners move up the stack, they receive greater incentives and benefits such as larger discounts, NFR and MDF eligibility as well. Partners can also, sorry, just back to this previous one, partners can also distinguish themselves by doing additional certification as well. So we do allow partners to get accredited in certain product sets, which they can use for branding and exposure within our market. So to move up the partner level stack, our partners have to hit both a revenue and technical certification requirement. So for example, a silver partner would have to hit $7,500 AUD in revenue spend within a financial year, and also complete 1 sales MDR, sales consultant, and an engineer certification. The training is available through the partner program portal as well, so it's quite easy to do it and enable and do it at your own time. So one of the advantages of getting certified and meeting our partner level promotion is better discounts. So as you can see from this slide, as you move up the partner level, so does your partner discount. Incumbency discounts also apply to from silver partners to help protect your future renewals. We also have the ability to deal reg, which again brings you better pricing for bringing us the opportunity. So basically, our partner program rewards results. The more our partners invest into Sophos, the more Sophos invests into our partners. And next one. As well as termed licensing, we also have our monthly flex program. So this allows partners to bill out our products on a month-to-month basis with no lock-in contracts. Other benefits include that we only charge for those devices that were active within the billing month, and partners received an aggregated discount total. So the more they onboard, the more larger discount they received by hitting the next band. This program has had a huge uptake in ANZ specifically. So as of last month, we billed 300,000 licenses within this monthly flex program. So Sophos has over 4,000 staff globally, as Wes had mentioned previously, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a snapshot on our ANZ team and who is available for you guys to help. So we do have our customer sales team. I'll just reiterate that Sophos is channel only. We can only procure through channel and partners, but we do have a dedicated customer sales team. So we've got 10 territory account executives across the country who look after our mid-market and enterprise customers. And we also have 4 account managers within our Center of Excellence team looking after our SMB customers. On the channel side, we've got 3 channel account executives across the East Coast, 1 channel account manager, and 4 MSP Flex account executives looking after those partners who represented those 300,000 licenses I had mentioned. Technical sales team, we're very heavy on technical pre-sales. So locally, we've got 4 senior sales engineers. We've got 3 internal sales engineers, as well as 2 MDR sales engineers based in Sydney. We also have one of our support centers here in Sydney, so and a data center as well. Next one. So around the Sophos resources, we do have a lot of pre-sales wireless pre-sales desks available to our channel. So we've got an MDR sales desk, we've got an RFP sales desk who can help with tender creation for you guys. We've got a wireless desk that can do scoping, heat maps, and design with our APX or AP range. We've got a firewall migration team to assist in those migrations from competitor firewalls or even legacy Sophos firewalls. We've got a competitive intel team to help with displacement of competitive vendors, professional services team that can do the SOW, do the customer calls with you guys if you choose to do utilize Sophos professional services. And we've also got our rapid response team. So for those customers that are non-Sophos or Sophos, if they are in a breach, then we've got a dedicated team to help them with the incident response and remediation. On the partner portal, a lot of assets within it. So we've got our asset library, which consists of battle cards, data sheets, and presentations for you guys to use to present to your customers. We've got a lot of marketing assets, so out-of-the-box campaigns and collaterals such as EDMs that can be white labeled. Training resides within that portal. The opportunity manager as well, that's a great tool. So it's got all your customer assets, your renewal data, the ability to do deal registrations and quote out within the partner portal. We've also got tools that reside in the partner portal, so an MDR proposal generator. So again, making your sell easier. So it's it helps, you input, it creates the BOM. It gives you total cost of ownership of what an internal SOC would look like, and just helps with that business development and presentation to the customer. We also have a firewall sizing tool that will allow you guys to size up the appropriate firewall. And then we have our Sophos sales and pre-sales teams available to you that I have just shown. So again, they're customer facing. They can help with deal qualification assistance. So do Sophos demos, POCs, design and scoping. So they are dedicated sales account management for our customers, and they can also help in those commercial discussions where the customers may have budget constraints or there's a competitive situation that we need to address. So there's a bit of a snapshot of Sophos and our partner program and benefits. I'll now pass it on to Nina.
Thanks so much for that, Dale. So as you can see, right, we have a lot of resources. So Sophos has provided a lot of resources to help support partners on their journey with Sophos. What that means then for us here at Ingram is we want to ensure that we're giving you access to those resources in the most meaningful way. So if you want to get connected to any of the channel team, to the sales desk, to the MDR desk, please reach out to us. We're going to be able to do that for you. Dale mentioned the MDR opportunity generator. If you are an old hand at the partner portal, feel free to, look it up yourself. But if you'd like us to run you through a demo of that, happy to do that. But what I'm going to mention now is we're going to start keeping an eye on that Q&A box. If you have a question for Wes, if you've got a question for Dale, please start putting it in there. We're going to get to that bit really, really shortly. A couple of things I wanted to cover. Like Wes mentioned, MDR for Microsoft Defender is one of the hottest things in the cybersecurity space at the moment. We're going to do 2 dedicated in-person sessions in Sydney and Melbourne. So if you want to just make a quick note of those dates, August 22nd in North Sydney, September 13th in Melbourne, please feel free to reach out to me or Dale or Wes or your favorite RM within Ingram or your BDM, and we'll make sure to go ahead and get that invite over to you. And once again, keep in mind, we will be covering the SC02 certification workshop in there, so it's a great opportunity for you to get that done while you're at that update. I did have someone message me privately during the webinar and ask if there's going to be a dedicated session around MDR for Microsoft Defender. Yes, save your date for September 19th. The registration link is going to go live right after this, I believe, when we send this out to the partners, but feel free to take a screenshot and make sure to register for it. Next slide, please. Now, to the incentives. So we have a promotion running or an incentive running, but really what it is a way for Sophos and Ingram Micro to thank you for your business and for all that you do with us and the business you bring to us. So what we're offering this quarter is a switch to success with Ingram Micro. What that means is for any upgrade deal that you bring to us, where you upgrade to an XGS 116 or 126, we'll be giving you $50 gift voucher. It's first come, best dressed. Make sure you ping your RM or whoever when that deal is in, so we can keep an eye out for it. Otherwise, I'll also be monitoring that on my end. You can win $100 if you upgrade to an XGS 2100 and above. Once again, first come, best dressed. You have until the end of the quarter, which is September 30th, to get it in. Let us know at Ingram when you submit that. Otherwise, we'll keep an eye out for you. Last not least is our grand prize. We are giving away 2 Nintendo Switches this quarter. 1 for the largest XGS deal for the quarter and 1 for the largest MDR deal. So you actually have an opportunity to win 2 if you really wanted to get your hands on a Switch, but we'll definitely be giving those out. If you have any questions on the promo. If you have any questions on the incentive, again, reach out to your RM or your account manager. Otherwise, if we go to the next slide, one more, please. Yep, here's a list of your contact details within Ingram Micro. So if you've got a quote request, send it through to our licensing quotes team. But if you have a question about Sophos, any of the content that you saw today, about a gift voucher, about a deal you've submitted in through to us, feel free to reach out to Dan Vickers, Sam DiBartolo, who are our solution development specialists, or Wes if you've got a question about any of the content today. And again, anything related at all to Sophos, definitely feel free to reach out to me. And you've got Dell's contact info and the ANZ MSP Flex Team's contact info over there as well. With that said, I do want to take 5 minutes and again, open up that chat for any Q&A. We've got Dale and Wes both available on the webinar still to answer anything that might come through. I'm looking to see.
I will say that
seen...
on top of our Ingram SPIFs, we do have Sophos rewards, and I forgot to mention that on the partner portal. So we do incentivize partners, and you're able to get in there and redeem eligible sales for points, and then you can purchase some stuff in Sophos in the Sophos store, such as vouchers or appliances.
Perfect. I've had one come to me, Dale, on a private chat. It says, you mentioned distinguishing yourself as a partner. Do they have to be at a certain partner level to choose one of those partner specialization tracks?
Oh yeah, so that comes from, you do have to be a minimum of a silver partner and then do additional certifications to be accredited in firewall, endpoint and server, or be a Sophos synchronized partner. So I can share the details and that can go out with your follow-up email.
Perfect. I see a question that says, when can they expect to receive the gift card and voucher? I believe it will be after the session is over, it'll be sent out in the next 24 to 48 hours, I believe. But if you don't have it, reach out to me. I'll make sure we chase it up for you. And I did want to mention, if you're keeping an eye on the chat window, the registration link for the MDR for Microsoft Defender is live on there as well. So feel free, you can click on it right now and get registered. All right. I think that was it for questions today. So I want to take a minute once again and thank Dale for joining us from Sophos, Wes for running us through that content, and once again, thank you to everyone who took the time out to attend the webinar. We hope you found the content useful. If you think of another topic you'd like to see us cover in the next session, please feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll make sure we bring to you more content like this. Otherwise, thank you once again, and we'll speak to you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.